So following on from the UK and Nexus Druid solo guides that I've done recently, many of you in the comments was asking, what about duo? If you've got a mate or whoever, your brother, your wife, your family member, and you want to be doing this but together, what's it like with two-man? It's actually really good. XP-wise, it doesn't differ too much because you do just approach these slightly differently. But you don't need mass amounts of gear. You already know what my Druid's gear is like, but let's have another look again anyway. So like you can see when you look at our gear, out of the two of us, yes, I've got decent-ish gear. I've never actually done some well on this Druid, so it's all just mostly tier 6. But then when you look at my brother, who's been doing it with me, he's rare in a very weird mix of gear, all pretty bad. Yeah, it does speed it up quite a lot. So if you've got you who's been playing TBC, got all really, really good gear, and then you've got a mate who's starting to play in Wrath and all he's going to have is like the entry-level questing gear, then you're going to be absolutely fine because this was a breeze. So we might as well get it out there straight away XP-wise because that's what you're most bothered about. But you've got to remember, we've got one person in really poor gear, one person in relatively decent gear, and we're getting around 115k a run. And we're doing a run in 15 minutes. So we're getting about 460k an hour, which is absolutely amazing. It is slightly more than what I was probably getting solo, and this is so much more comfortable. And this particular setup works really well as well. Because he's rare, he'll be using all of his Art of War procs to Flash of Light me, using a macro where it just always casts it directly at me, so he's not losing his target and he can just keep pumping and firing out those instant cast Flash of Lights. And you can see I'm barely taking any damage even when I've got, 4 mobs on me there. Sometimes we was pulling 5 or 6. You'll start to see my health going down a little bit now because they are enraged. So this is at the point where I'd start using cooldowns, like I've got Frenzied Regen up. But we can take 4, 5 mobs at a time comfortably as long as I've got some cooldowns ready. So as you would expect, we clear all of the first hallway and then this entire circle around where you've got the firewalls because they die very easy. And if you're using Berserk, pretty much every other pack, you can get them down pretty quick. And we was trying to sort of stagger our cooldowns. So one of us is always pumping pretty hard while the other one's just focusing on staying alive, really. Normally me. Because I must admit, if I lost focus even for a minute and didn't notice that there was a mob on my little Paladin friend here, he would die pretty quickly. And yes, I was seeing if I've been to the trainer and learnt revive. That's a negative. But even with him dying, we still got about 115k this run because we've got a goal. We've got a place that we actually want to get to. So if you've seen me do the UK solo Druid run, you know the room that I want to get to because it yields the most XP. We do a lot more duo than I do solo, so we actually still get to the same place, which is the Undead Cave, but we do kill everything in between. When I do the solo run, I don't kill these drakes. I just kill one drake at the start, and then I stealth through here to get to the cave as quick as possible. But with 2 of us, we can comfortably clear everything up past the first boss and the first cavern of all the undead mobs that give really good XP. But obviously these drakes, even with 2 of us, we're getting like 8k a kill. But like you can see when this drake dies, this room is absolutely worth clearing because 4.5k from one, nearly 2.5 from another. That's like half a quest in killing one pack. And we're killing them fast. Just look, you're talking less than a minute to get half a quest's worth nearly of XP. So essentially, just by clearing this room out, you're probably doing a couple of quests in like 4 or 5 minutes tops. Because as I say, we're looking at 15-minute runs. So you want to basically be clearing each section in 5 minutes. So the first room and all the hallway with the firewalls, you want to be getting all of this done in about 5 minutes. You want to have the entire Drake room cleared out in about 5 minutes. Obviously, the quicker the better, because if you're going to hit the instance cap, you just go a little bit further in. We stop at the point we want to stop at 15 minutes because we know we're never going to hit the lockout then, but you could go and kill an extra few packs if you're quicker than we are because you've got more gear. Only one thing to be a little bit careful of is these packs, and I do talk about these in the Druid solo run, is the runecasters you want to kill fast because they put a shield up, and you need to be very careful of the strategists because they put bombs down on the floor, which actually, little Ret Paladin died a few times to those bombs. As you can see, a ticking bomb going down now. You just need to be mindful where it is. You can see me on the Druid backpedaling away. Safe as houses. Now, this pack gives great XP because you've got 4 mobs to kill, but you need to be able to handle these 4 mobs. So we do actually just put a Repentance up on one, take 3 down. Well, by the time we've killed 2, the other one's coming in and we're absolutely fine. But again, because you've got strategists and the runecasters, you do need to be careful. You can see the amount of damage actually that the Paladin's taking here. It is very dangerous. But as long as you've got the gear to actually handle it, you should be absolutely fine. Worst comes to the worst, if you've got one who's got a decent amount of gear like my Druid, anytime your mate dies or if he, just needs to stand out on a specific pack so you can solo it, It's not ideal, don't get me wrong, but you could do it. But then ultimately, you want to get this entire room cleared out in the 15-minute run. He did die a couple of times this run, so he was a little bit slower, to be fair. We probably wouldn't have got that next pack done. But this was ultimately practice for us as well, trying to get it refined, because this is probably what we are going to do at launch. We're probably going to two-man UK till about 73, and then we're going to be moving on to Old Kingdom, two-man in that. Expect a video on Old Kingdom. And any noteworthy things that you need to know, anything important we're pointing out here, like watching out for the mobs that go in rage at the start. Always take those down or stun them, whatever, but get rid of the ones that are enraged first. And when it comes to the runecasters and watching for bombs on the floor, you can take a lot away from this, hopefully. If you wanted some loot or you wanted some enchanting mats as in the blues to DE, you can kill the first boss comfortably two-man. Well, when I say two-man, we could do it as a Druid and a Ret Paladin, but it wasn't comfortable. I'm probably exaggerating a little bit there. We did have some touch-and-go moments. But ultimately, as you can see, it is possible. So if you wanted to try and get a few items at the same time, and you're both capable of doing this together, then you might as well. Why not? But that's it. So overall, you're looking at about 115k every 15 minutes. So 460k an hour when you only need 1.5 mil around that for 70 to 71. You're looking at 3 to 4 hours a level, absolute maximum. And you could probably do this a bit quicker if you had two people with gear rather than just one person with gear. I'm not going to say carrying the other person, because getting those hills and that from the Ret was very useful. But if you was to do this with something like, I don't know, a DK or a prop Paladin paired with like a Holy Nova spamming priest, you could probably get all of these down a lot quicker than we do. But anyway, if you enjoyed it, like and subscribe, roll the outro. There's lots of ways you can support the channel to keep me here putting out World of Warcraft content and covering all future MMOs. Consider joining the channel as a member. You get access to emotes, everyone will know you're a member when you comment on future videos because you get a nice icon next to your name, and you get access to members-only videos, which I'll be putting a lot of on the channel throughout the year. Additionally, there's a Patreon link in the description as well. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you on the next one.